Have you ever experienced that sinking feeling when you realize your Amazon package has vanished from your doorstep? That's exactly what happened to me, not once, not twice, but 5 times over the past 3 months. My name is Sarah, and I live in what used to be a peaceful suburban neighborhood in Colorado. I've always considered myself a tech enthusiast, working as a software engineer with a knack for creative problem solving. Little did I know that my skills would be put to the test by my neighbor Karen, a woman in her late 40s who has earned quite the reputation in our community. Karen isn't your typical next-door neighbor. She's the type who calls the HOA about grass being an inch too tall, reports kids for chalk drawings on sidewalks, and apparently has a habit of helping herself to other people's packages. I had suspicions, but security footage from my video doorbell finally confirmed it. There was Karen, bold as brass, walking up to my porch at 2 p.m., looking around nervously, then snatching my package like it was her own personal delivery. That was the moment I decided enough was enough. If the police wouldn't help and confrontation seemed pointless, I'd have to get creative with my revenge. The neighborhood had always been the kind of place where you could wave to your neighbors and leave your doors unlocked, but lately, things had changed. Multiple residents had reported missing packages, particularly those delivered by Amazon during peak hours when most people were at work. The pattern was becoming clear. Someone was systematically targeting homes during the day, waiting for that telltale Amazon van to make its rounds before swooping in like a vulture. Our local police department, overwhelmed with more serious crimes, basically told us to install security cameras and file reports, but prosecution for petty theft was unlikely unless we had ironclad evidence and the perpetrator was caught red-handed. I had my evidence, but Karen was too clever to be caught in the act during official business hours. My background in electrical engineering and programming suddenly seemed like the perfect arsenal for what I had in mind. I spent weeks planning what would become known as Operation Glitter Storm. The concept was simple but ingenious: create a fake package that looked identical to a typical Amazon delivery, but inside, instead of merchandise, it would contain a spring-loaded mechanism triggered by opening the box. This mechanism would deploy a massive cloud of ultrafine craft glitter in every direction, coating whoever opened it in a sparkly mess that would take days to fully clean. But I didn't want just the satisfaction of revenge, I wanted proof, and I wanted Karen to know she'd been caught. The construction phase was both challenging and exciting. I used a standard Amazon box with realistic shipping labels, complete with a tracking number that would scan as valid if Karen tried to verify it. Inside, I built a custom Arduino-based system with motion sensors, a small camera with wide-angle lens, and a pressurized CO2 cartridge that would explosively disperse approximately 2 pounds of superfine glitter in a 360-degree pattern. The camera was programmed to start recording the moment the box experienced movement, with footage being instantly uploaded to cloud storage. I even added a small GPS tracker, just in case the package ended up somewhere unexpected. The day of reckoning arrived on a typical Tuesday afternoon. I had carefully placed the box on my porch at exactly 1:15 p.m., right when the regular Amazon truck usually made its rounds. I positioned myself in my home office with a clear view of the street through my window, my laptop ready to receive the live feed from multiple angles, my doorbell camera, a hidden camera across the street, and the camera inside the box itself. The wait was agonizing. Would Karen take the bait? Was my device going to work properly? Had I covered all the technical bases? At 1:52 p.m., like clockwork, the Amazon truck drove by and made a legitimate delivery 3 houses down. This was Karen's usual cue. I watched through my window as her front door opened, and there she was, wearing her typical afternoon attire, a flowing floral dress that made her look like an overzealous garden club member. She peered around nervously, clearly checking for witnesses, then made her move with the confidence of someone who had done this many times before. My heart was pounding as she approached my porch, picked up the box, and examined it briefly. She even shook it gently, probably trying to guess the contents. The moment of truth came when she retreated to the side of my house, partially hidden from street view. Through the internal camera feed, I watched in real time as her manicured fingers worked at the tape sealing the box. She was humming to herself, completely oblivious to what was about to happen. The mechanism worked perfectly. The instant the box flaps opened, there was a sharp hissing sound followed by an explosion of holographic glitter that instantly transformed Karen into what looked like a life-size disco ball. The expression on her face went from curiosity to shock to absolute horror in about half a second. She screamed, dropped the box, and began frantically trying to brush the glitter off her dress, but of course, that only made it worse. Glitter was in her hair, on her face, coating her expensive designer sunglasses, and settling into every fold of her clothing. But the show wasn't over. As Karen spun around in a panic, she knocked the camera-equipped box with her foot, sending it tumbling. This triggered a secondary burst of glitter, creating what looked like a small tornado of sparkles. She was now completely covered, looking like she had lost a fight with a craft store. Her screaming intensified, and she began running in circles, which only served to spread the glitter in a wider radius, creating a sparkling trail of evidence back to her own house. The aftermath was even more entertaining than the initial explosion. Karen, still covered head to toe in glitter, suddenly noticed the small camera lens among the box's debris. Her face went from panic to rage as she realized she had been set up. She began shouting obscenities, threatening to sue, and demanding to know who was responsible. But here's the beauty of my plan: the cameras had captured everything from multiple angles, creating an undeniable record of her theft. She couldn't very well complain to the authorities about being pranked when she was clearly stealing packages in the first place. The video footage was gold. You could see every detail, from her initial reconnaissance to her careful examination of the package, the theft itself, and the glorious explosion of glitter. Her attempts to clean herself were futile and hilarious. Glitter had embedded itself in her hair, worked its way into her jewelry, and even somehow got inside her shoes. She spent the next 20 minutes outside her house, trying desperately to shake off the evidence, but holographic glitter is notoriously persistent. Neighbors began coming out to see what the commotion was about, and soon a small crowd had gathered, watching Karen's impromptu sparkle dance. The community reaction was immediate and overwhelmingly positive. Within hours, the footage had been shared in our neighborhood Facebook group, with faces blurred for privacy, of course, and the comments section exploded with support. Turns out, Karen had been targeting multiple households, and people were thrilled that someone had finally caught her in the act. Several neighbors came forward with their own stories of missing packages, and suddenly, Karen's reputation shift from difficult neighbor to neighborhood package thief became official. The legal implications were interesting. Karen's husband arrived home that evening to find his wife still partially covered in glitter, sitting in their garage with a leaf blower, trying to remove the evidence. When he learned what had happened, he was reportedly furious, not at me, but at his wife. Apparently, he had suspected her of shopping in the neighborhood but hadn't wanted to believe it. The video evidence was irrefutable, and Karen found herself in quite the predicament. She couldn't file any legitimate complaints because she had been caught stealing, and the prank itself, while elaborate, didn't cause any physical harm or property damage. The immediate effect on package theft in our neighborhood was remarkable. Word spread quickly that someone was willing to fight back with creative solutions, and suddenly, mysterious package disappearances dropped to zero. Karen herself became a pariah in the community. The glitter took nearly 2 weeks to completely disappear from her appearance, serving as a constant reminder to everyone of what had transpired. She stopped attending neighborhood association meetings, withdrew from the garden club, and generally kept a low profile. As for our relationship, it never recovered. Not that there was much of a relationship to begin with. Karen attempted a half-hearted apology a month later, claiming it was all a misunderstanding and that she had been helping by bringing packages inside during bad weather, a creative excuse, but the evidence clearly showed her taking packages on sunny days. I accepted her apology with the understanding that any future package-related incidents would be immediately reported to the authorities with video evidence attached. The story took on a life of its own in our community and beyond. Local news picked it up, and I was invited to several podcasts to discuss the incident. I always emphasized that while the prank was satisfying, it was born out of frustration with a real problem that needed addressing. The incident sparked conversations about package security, neighborhood trust, and creative problem solving that went far beyond my personal revenge plot. 6 months later, our neighborhood established a community watch program specifically for package deliveries, and several residents invested in secure package boxes or pickup lockers. The Amazon driver even started taking photos of deliveries more consistently. Technology played a bigger role in our daily security, and people became more mindful of looking out for each other. As for Karen, she moved away 3 months after the glitter bomb incident, citing a job transfer for her husband. Most neighbors suspected the real reason was the social isolation she faced after being exposed as the package thief. Looking back, I don't regret my actions, though I do recognize that the situation could have been handled differently. The glitter bomb served its purpose. It stopped the thefts, identified the perpetrator, and brought the community closer together in addressing a shared problem. It also demonstrated that sometimes, when traditional channels fail, creative solutions can be effective deterrents. The key lesson I took away wasn't just about revenge, but about the importance of community vigilance and the power of documented evidence. Today, our neighborhood is more connected than ever. We have a dedicated group chat for delivery notifications, and neighbors regularly offer to collect packages for each other when they're home. The glitter bomb incident became a legendary tale that new residents hear about, serving as both entertainment and warning. And while I've retired my career as a neighborhood vigilante engineer, my experience with Karen taught me valuable lessons about problem solving, community engagement, and the satisfying effectiveness of a well-executed plan. Sometimes, the best response to a problem isn't always the most conventional one, but it should always aim to create positive change while maintaining a sense of humor about life's absurd moments.